Hi everyone, I'm Brookyn Kaye. Welcome to my channel. So today we are reviewing the Youngblood Cosmetics line. By the way, not sponsored. I am giving you my most honest thoughts on all of it. There's stuff I loved, some stuff that I, was just kind of whatever. But I talk about each of those items in depth. I hope you all enjoy the tutorial, and without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm really excited to be doing this today because I've been wearing the foundation for the past few days and I've actually really enjoyed it. But more so, I just want you guys that are into clean makeup or into mineral makeup to know that this is an option for you. But this was just one where I was gifted like a huge kit from one of my friends of this brand, and I want to be able to use it on clients, but I wanted to test it out on myself first to kind of see how it works, how I like it, and all of that good stuff. I haven't tried the primer yet actually, so let's do that. I'm already moisturized. The description, I'm just gonna read them on these because why not? It says, colorless primer smooths fine lines and pores, creating an even surface for foundation. Silky, non-greasy formula contains minerals and vitamins A and E to shield and rejuvenate skin. Oh wow. It's like this jelly consistency. I probably have too much, but that's okay. It feels very smooth, kind of like a silicone-y feel, but I don't know if silicone's in it. I'd have to look up ingredients to know that. I don't necessarily mind that, but like it says, it's very smooth, very silky. It doesn't appear to be pilling or anything, which is really nice because that happens a lot of the time with silicone primers. Okay, so I figured out which concealer is going to work best for me, and that appears to be medium. It's in like a little pot, so because I'm probably gonna use this on other people, I'm just going to scoop it out. And it's very creamy, like pretty much instantly it went to a liquid, which is nice. So I'm just taking that on the brush. Wow, and a little appears to go a long way. A lot of these cream concealers can be like stiff and glossy, but not a lot of pigment to them. This one actually feels really nice. It feels really light on the skin, like I can hardly even feel it. For me though, I just typically prefer wand concealers, like I'll just be real about that. They're just easiest to use. But as far as just a pot concealer goes, this is actually so pretty. What it reminds me of though is the RCMA foundation palette. The way that these concealers feel so similar to that. I can still see a little bit of darkness peeking through, but I'm not gonna punish them for that. Like overall, I think if you don't have that dark of circles, this is gonna work well for you. So I'm going in with the Golden Tan Liquid Mineral Foundation with a Deep Sea Hydrating Complex. So it's light to medium coverage with a radiant finish. Okay, so this is just my Jaclyn Hill brush that I love, JH03. But I've been liking this foundation. I feel like it would be really pretty for more of like more mature skin tones because it's really hydrating. Like you can see it looks very dewy on the skin. It's really pretty. It's almost like a tinted moisturizer, except it's buildable. I will say it oxidizes slightly, just kind of like paint when it dries down a little bit. So that's the foundation. Like I said, it's very natural looking, and it has like a nice sheen to it. If you're like a full coverage matte girl, you're not gonna like it, but overall I would say it's actually really pretty and I enjoy this one. Okay, so I am going to go in with the shade Honey, which is a neutral shade, and this is their Natural Loose Mineral Foundation, and I love the coverage of this, you guys. It's awesome. So I put that into my little palette, and then I have a dense brush here. This is a Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Face Brush. Pushing that into the brush, and then we are going to apply it to the face. And so I am dabbing it on because it gives really nice coverage. The powder has a teeny bit of like luminescence to it, so you don't get that flat powdered face. And this you can absolutely wear on its own. I just like having some sort of a liquid foundation on, like maybe it's just because like that's how I'm used to wearing makeup, but this covers so nicely. So if you are the type of girl that just wants a powder to wear and just throw it on, this is great. The only problem with these is I wouldn't recommend wearing them in photos because minerals have a tendency to flash back in photography. To set my under eye though, I am taking their contour palette, which I actually really, really like. I think it's awesome. They have great powders. They're really creamy. And I am going to dip into this pinkish shade here and a little bit of that yellow shade in the middle and just set my under eye. It's nice to have that little bit of pink in a powder, especially if you're fair, because that helps correct anything underneath the eyes like that's unwanted. And also set that concealer on the lid. But yeah, I feel like that's looking pretty right now. But now I'm gonna take a little bit of bronzer from that palette, and I'm taking this middle shade here, which is just like a nice warm brown shade. I love this color. I think it's really pretty. I was really impressed with this palette. This might be my favorite of all of it. Like, I do like that foundation powder, except the shade I used this time might have been a little too light for the foundation because it's coming across a little gray, at least in this area. Let's move on to eyes. Now that I have brows on, I just throw on my ColourPop Brow Boss pencil that I've been loving. So they have this little eye primer guide. I wonder how this texture is gonna be. Let's see. I'm just gonna put it on with my finger. So it's kind of like a moussey texture. Usually I like more of like almost like a waxy texture. That's why I like just the classic MAC paint pot. As of right now, I'm not sure how much I like the formula. We'll just see how it wears with the eyeshadow. We are going to use this palette, and then I may grab one of the quads because there's a really pretty shimmer in one of them that I would like to try out. But this palette is called Enchanted. The front of the packaging is just really simple. I am gonna dip into this shade called Cashmere, which is like a peachy shade. Whoa, and there is a lot of fallout. Pigment seems to be there. Not like the most pigmented, but it's definitely building, which is good. And then I'm gonna take this shade Bonfire, which is like a nice warm orangey brown shade, and then going deeper into the crease. Which that's actually nice and pigmented. I like that. And they're true to color, so like when you put them on, it's what you're expecting to get, which is nice. And then I'm also bringing that inwards, just kind of straight across. I've liked this technique lately. And then I don't really want to go quite to this purple shade, so I'm gonna grab one of the quads. So I'm grabbing the palette called Desert Dreams, and this is such a pretty, just kind of like your basics of matte shadows. And I'm gonna take this shade here, which came across more red on camera, but it looks more of like a, just like a warm chocolatey brown. And then I'm just popping that on the outer corner. That has really nice pigment. It's going on nice and smooth. Yeah, I actually really like those shadows. The shadows are very, very nice. And then this shimmer was just so gorgeous. This is another quad called Sweet Talk, and it's this shade here. Like, look at how delicious that is. I'm taking it on my finger just because that's how I like those applied. Ooh. That is so pretty. It's like a wet looking, it's kind of like a glitter in the way where it kind of has that like gritty look, but I like that. I really, really like that shade. That is beautiful. So sorry you guys, I ended up adding a black wing with their eyeshadow because I just wanted to test it out while my camera died. And the black is very impressive. It's a nice pigmented black. I just kind of faded it out. I used one of these palettes because I just kind of wanted to make sure the formula was the same across the board. And they are. So I am just dipping into this like a champagne-y vanilla shade and just popping that on the inner corner. And I also popped on some mascara. I just used my Essence Lash Princess. I'm very impressed with the eyeshadows. I think they're very, very pretty, and I absolutely would purchase these myself. Like, I think they are gorgeous. So we're gonna be doing blush next, and there's quite a few. But the shades I like, so I'm pretty sure these are the ones I've been wearing, which are Blossom and Nectar. But then I also love the shade Posh because it's just really fun and bright and obnoxious. So I'm gonna try out the shade Posh, and I'm just taking it on a Jaclyn Hill Morphe JH04 brush, which is just like this little slanted guy, and popping that on the tops of the cheekbones. This blush is actually so pretty. I love, love, love bright blushes like these. I like the size, like they're about the size of eyeshadows, because those big pans of blush just take so long to go through. And then even though we're shiny, I want to show you guys the highlighter. And we're just shiny, like I said, because of the bright lights. In real life, it doesn't look like this. It's just that bright light. They have these really cool loose highlighters, and this is kind of like a blush topper called Sherbet. And I'm just taking it on like a little sheer guy and just putting it towards the top of the cheekbone, but it gives you this really pretty brightened look. Yeah, so let's try the lipsticks now. Okay, so I'm taking the lip liner called Pout, which is just a nice nude shade. Which these are nice lip liners. They're nice and creamy, but they're not too creamy either to where they feel like they're not going to stay on. And then for the lipstick, this one, I really like this one. It's nice and nude. It's just called Naked. And it has like a shiny finish. And that is like so nude. So let me do a little bit of, oh my gosh. You guys, I just closed this and the lipstick got stuck in the top of the lid. Ooh, that is not good.
I wonder if I can like get it out. Oh my gosh, that sucks.
I think that was my bad, but ooh. Shoot. This one's called Barely Nude. Oh yeah, I like that color much better. That just adds a little more color, and we're gonna roll it all the way down. Because that one got stuck when I tried to roll it all the way down, so I thought it was down, and then the lipstick got stuck to the cap. I'm gonna blame that on me. So their glosses are beautiful, and this shade really struck me. It is called Innocence. And since I don't want to contaminate the container, the reason I do with the lipsticks is because you can just spray alcohol and wipe it off, but lip glosses, it's like in there. So I am just taking that out, putting it on the back of my hand. And I love the consistency of this gloss. I'm so picky. Like, I don't like it to be too thin to where it just feels kind of like greasy and just rubs off. This one is not like that at all. It is so pretty. I just wanted to show you what it looked like in kind of like real life lighting, so you're not like, sure, I'm sure it looks good in real life lighting, whatever you say. But I actually really like how it looks. Like, just day to day, I think this foundation's perfect for just the everyday woman. If you're using lighting or artificial lighting, I wouldn't recommend this. But like I said, very pretty in normal life. All right, you guys, so let's go over all of the items. I hope that was helpful showing different lighting. Let's go over all the products and I will tell you what I think. I'm sorry this video is probably so long, but I wanted to give just an in-depth review of all of this, so I hope you all enjoy that. Let's start off with the primer. The primer actually feels really nice. I don't know, like, I guess it gave it like a pretty smooth look to the foundation. Primer I use day to day is the e.l.f. primer. I love it, and that's probably what I'll just continue to use. So I would say maybe pass on this just because I don't really notice a difference with this one. All right, and then as for the foundation, like I've said, I think it's great for people with like more mature skin, or if you're dry and just want something very natural looking on the skin, I would recommend this to those people. But as for people that want something with more coverage or are oily, you're probably not gonna like this one as much. But I think the combination of it with the powder is a beautiful combination. Like I showed you in the bathroom how it looks. I have a little texture on my face right here on this side, but on this side it looks very smooth, and it didn't really emphasize pores by any means. I just felt like it was really nice and pretty, but I like the extra coverage it adds. I feel like it adds so much coverage compared to other powder foundations on the market. But yeah, those are my thoughts on both of the foundations I wore today. And then as for the concealer, it didn't cover that well. I just have very dark under eyes, so it can be hard to cover those up. I like how it looks underneath the eye, like the finish is really pretty. It's not creasing. I did set it down, but it looks really pretty and natural. Since I have my RCMA palette and that's a very similar consistency to it, I will probably just stick with my RCMA palette. As for the contour palette, I love this contour palette. I think it's great. I love the under eye setting powders. I love the bronzers. I think the case is very cute. It just has like this leather packaging, and then you just have those 6 shades, which, like I said, I love this bronzer shade. This is the only one I've used because it's the one that works for me, but I feel like I will definitely pop this into my kit. I would use it for myself, but I already have so many setting powders for me, so I'm gonna use this on my clients. Let's see, what do we use next? We use the eyeshadows. So the eyeshadows I loved. I think they're awesome eyeshadows. They were really easy to blend, which I really liked. Like, I wasn't sitting there taking time to just, you know, blend it out. Like, I just kind of moved my brush across and it was blended, which was awesome. So if you want something that's easy to blend where you just throw it on and it looks good, I absolutely would recommend those. Day-to-day stuff, like, I think they're gonna be great for shoots. They have beautiful matte shades. I loved that fun shimmer. It was so pretty. And even the satiny shade on the inner corner was so pretty and like wet looking. I loved it. So now to reviewing the blush. I loved these blushes. I think they're great. I love the size because, like I said, I feel like sometimes blushes are just so big and bulky and it takes so long to go through them. But I loved the formula of these. Like, they blended really nicely, which I really loved about that. And then I also love the highlighters as well. So these guys here, this was the shade Sherbet that I used, which is kind of, you could totally just use it as a blush, but it's very glowy. So I just used it as like a blush topper. So I applied blush and then just did a little bit on the tops of the cheekbones. And then as far as the lipsticks go, I loved the lip liner. Let's see, I used the shade Pout, which was just a very, sorry, I have so much stuff on my hands right now, like life of a makeup artist, right? So that was the shade I used. It's just like a nice nude naked color. And then I did actually like the lipstick. I just ruined it. I'm just gonna say that was user error, but I did end up fixing it. I just pushed it back in. But I liked the color. That shade was just a little nude for me. So the color that I really liked was called Barely Nude, because it just has a teeny bit of color to it. Like, I can't do just like the gray nudes. I just look like a zombie. Some people can pull it off great, but for me, I love the gloss. Like, I think the gloss is incredible. I love the consistency. Like I said, I'm very picky with gloss formulas. So the thing that I like about this is it's a good mix between a thick gloss and then just like a thin, like, I don't like the thin greasy glosses, but I don't like when they're so thick that like you feel like you can't even open your lips without there being like it feeling sticky. This is just like a perfect consistency, and I love this color. This one's called Innocence. I know that you can get Youngblood on their website, and I believe they have some of their products on Amazon as well. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial and review of Youngblood Cosmetics. If any of you are gonna try anything out, or if you have tried anything before, make sure to comment down below and comment what products you like or which products you would like to try yourselves. I always love, you know, talking to you guys in the comments. But yeah, that is the end of this tutorial and review, and I will see you in my next video.